Live. All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the first ever Door to Door. We got a great guest today, a friend of Anchor Gold, Lizumi himself, Kyle Fuller, former Vanderbilt point guard, aspiring author, and most importantly, SEC champion. Kyle, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing good. Yourself?
Not too bad. Thanks so much for coming by. We're really excited to see how this book turns out, and really excited to talk to you.
Oh yeah, no problem, no problem.
Cool, man. All right, well, yeah, let's dig right into it. I mean, you got Below the Rim coming out. The Kickstarter goes live today on Monday. Tell us all about it. Tell us what the book's going to tackle and basically why Vandy fans should read it.
All right. Well, this book, first of all, is an athlete's experience. So it's a play-by-play through my eyes and through things that happen with me, in my life. And it starts from the recruiting process all the way to the end of my senior year. So it talks about, growing up in a neighborhood where I'm from, how it's, a lot of your friends, a lot of your family, are not doing, the right things. You know what I'm talking about? So, like, my dad passed, he's gone. It just talks about everything that I feel every athlete has gone through, or like every athlete experiences. So it talks about like the girls, how the girls is fun. Everybody wants to hear about girls, the parties, the drugs. It just talks about, I feel like, everything.
Okay. All right. So there's going to be some unique things in there too, though. I mean, you're a black athlete. You come from California, going to Vandy. I mean, how much is the color of your skin going to play a role in the book? How much did it play a role in your career at Vanderbilt? I mean, coming from California to the South, was it a big culture shock for you?
It was extremely culture shock for me. I was from California, especially from a neighborhood where it was mostly all black and like Latinos. So when I came here and I kind of walked on campus, even on my recruiting visit, I see nothing but white people. It's just something that you just got to get used to. Every friend I go to, mostly all white. It's like black is really a minority at Vanderbilt, but at Vanderbilt, I didn't really go through such racism type things, but it's like when you step off campus, you actually start to realize how much of a factor it really plays.
Yeah, and I mean, a place like Nashville, a little bit more enlightened, a little bit more diverse. How bad was it going to? I mean, it's never terrible because you're always going to college towns, which always brings a different pool of students together. But how bad was it going to places like Mississippi or down to Florida, where typically the race relations there haven't been as enlightened as they've been in Nashville? Were there any major issues, big problems?
And, yeah, there was one. Well, no, actually, there's many, but I mean, there's one that I'm talking about right now, and it's what happened at Georgia when I was at the free throw line and I'm shooting jump shots, and you kind of hear people saying, "Oh, nigger this, nigger that," and I'm kind of it's shocking because I think like half your team is black, So like, are you talking to me? You talking to everybody? Or for instance, there was one where I just stated that I was going to come out and write this book. Right. It just got out in the media, so everybody knew I was writing a book. And there's one comment I'll never forget. So I'm not sure if it was a Doris fan. I don't know. But there's one comment for everybody to read where it said Kyle Fuller, the slave writer. And it's like, dang, you don't even know what the book's about. You know what I'm talking about? Just gonna call me a slave? So I mean, it definitely plays a factor.
Yeah, that's unreal, unreal. All right, well, I mean, obviously, there's going to be some controversial issues that come up there. You've kind of stated in the past that you're not trying to take Vanderbilt to task with it. What, as Coach Stallings or anyone in the Vandy administration, have they come to you with any concerns about the book, or are they worried at all that they might come out looking bad, or has anyone from Vandy come out and said, "Hey, Kyle, what's going to be in the book?"
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely, I mean, they definitely shared their concerns with me and things of that sort. But I mean, I'm from a place where snitches get stitches. Okay. So I'm not gonna really call out any of my teammates or anything like that because they're my brothers and I grew up with them and we don't do that. But but this book will talk about serious controversial issues like when you're an athlete and everybody, there's drugs on everywhere, but as an athlete, because you have such a status, those things are easy access to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the thing is, like, when you're an athlete and you have all this status, people know who you are, people want to be your friend, things come easier for you.
Right.
So it's real easy to get caught up in, doing marijuana or, doing some drugs. You know what I mean? And it's really just talks about how like that can mess up an athlete or make an athlete stronger by not doing it.
All right, so piggyback off that, and you probably cover this in the book, but how do you parse out, how do you separate the people who genuinely want to be your friend and care about you from the people who are just looking to make a connection with a college athlete?
Sometimes you really just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes you just don't know because it's difficult. But I mean, you really know who like your brothers are when they care about you when things don't go well, and that's what I'm talking about. Remember, there was a time my sophomore year where I didn't play. I was at the end of the bench, and nobody was tweeting me after games anymore. Nobody was texting me, good game, like nobody even, I think, felt like I even got noticed anymore,
Right.
But the people that did, you can tell who cares about you because in the moment my dad passed. So then I was thinking about quitting school and going to go help my mom, right? Get a job and all that. But she didn't want that. So the moment I came back, I worked my tail off. I got named a starter. Started playing well.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get tweets. I'm starting to get texts.
Yeah, you're starting to come back into the public eye, Caillou.
And everything comes back. So it's really difficult because especially when you're doing well, you don't know who's there for you and who's not.
All right. So you brought up a tough sophomore year. Obviously, losing your father was a very difficult time for you. How close were you to leaving Vanderbilt? Because I know there are a lot of rumors that you weren't going to be coming back despite a junior year where you had a big opportunity to grow into the team and take the reins. How seriously were you considering leaving Vanderbilt? And were you going to leave school altogether? Were you going to transfer to someplace closer to home? I mean, what was going through your mind at that time?
A lot. And to be honest with you, I thought like I was going to be done with basketball. I thought I was going to be done because my mom has done everything for me. She's a role model to me, and I was going to do whatever it took to put some money in her pocket. You know what I mean? To help. So if that meant get a job and leave Vandy because she needs money right now, I mean, I'll do that. And it just also talks about this kind of piggybacks on what else I want to talk about because you see how many kids right now or athletes is getting in trouble off of signing autographs, for money and stuff like that. And this book talks about this because I read a stat on ESPN that said 85% of college athletes live below the poverty line.
Yeah.
So it talks about when you see like sometimes these kids taking money or taking things like that, like you really have to understand their background. Sometimes it's not just for them. You know what I mean? Because like a kid like myself will do anything to help his mama. So like sometimes I'm not saying that they're always right, for taking money or they're wrong. But I'm saying you need to understand the kid instead of just, saying how stupid of a decision he made or things of that sort. And it just talks about because we get pressure too. People want to buy us lunch, people want to buy us dinner, people want to be our friends.
Right.
And sometimes we just don't have the money, and so we want to have lunch. So we do that stuff sometimes. But I'm not saying I've done, I'm not saying we've done, but I'm just saying though we get put in those situations, which is also what's in my book. Everybody needs to understand that.
Yeah, and I think the public perception is coming around a lot. I mean, I know Vandy fans got pretty frustrated with the NCAA when Festus got 6-game suspension for letting someone give him a bed in a hotel room. Lance got a 2-game suspension for buying a parking pass. I think the backlash is really starting to come against the NCAA, and a big part of it is, I mean, why shouldn't a player, he's doing the signing, the university's making money off their likeness, shouldn't they be able to get some of the benefit from that when they're making money for everyone else? So I think hopefully we're coming to a point where that's not going to be as much of an issue anymore.
Because people got to understand that. It's like I left my home, which is not in the greatest neighborhood, to come to Vandy. So like when people say, "Oh, you took this, you took that," or stuff like that, I'm thinking about it and like I'm like, okay, so I went to college, so I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm good. Right. My mom is still there.
Yeah, you got family back there you got to take care of.
Yeah, my little brother is still there, and he's at an age right now where teenagers, they feel like they know everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm feeling like if one of my friends who I grew up with, who, in middle school, I kind of grew up with this kid, and my dad said, if you want to make some money, you make it yourself. Yeah. So I'm a little kid. I'm selling boxes of Skittles for $1. You know what I mean? While my friend, though, I can't mention no names, but my friend, is out selling. And he's selling stuff that's not legal. But I see him making $50, $100 a pop, and I'm only making $1. But the thing is, I'm seeing him actually help his family. Me, I'm just helping myself. You know what I mean? So it really just talks about all that, and it's just because I feel like I've lived through every aspect of an athlete when it comes to difficulty, when it comes to actually living a life where your head gets big, you're playing well, the girls are coming to talk to you, you know what I mean? And as an athlete, you're young. You're wild. It's like, man, shoot, if the girls is giving me attention, I might as well show it to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it literally talks about all that type of stuff.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to the team a little bit and get kind of more into those issues that the players face. I mean, past 4 or 5 years, Vandy's seen one of the bigger exoduses of players leaving through transfer or in Kevin Bright's case, heading back to Germany to be closer to his family. Yeah. I mean, when players leave the program like that, do you think that's a reflection on Kevin Stallings as a coach, or was this more of just the situation, a lot of bad circumstances happening one right after another that weren't really under anyone's control?
To be honest, I kind of think in my opinion, it was just a stack of bad situations at the time. Because we were put in a hard, predicament after everybody leaving.
Right.
But I think it was one person who left because he felt like he had to. Another person felt like he had to. I don't really feel like they had anything to do with Coach Stallings. But then again, I don't know their mindset.
Right.
I didn't sit there and ask him because, as a brother, you're supposed to be there for him regardless of what decision he makes.
Right.
So I really couldn't tell you exactly, but that's how I feel. I feel like it was just one person felt like he had to do what he had to do, another, and then it kept stacking and stacking.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still important insight, though, because, I mean, as fans, all we really see from Stallings, the hard ass on the sideline, whistling, screaming. Like, you look at that guy, and it's like, it doesn't look like he's fun to play for. Like, I can understand why guys are leaving. So it's good to have that insight. Like, I mean, obviously, is he more of a taskmaster? Is there, like, a softer side of him we just don't see as fans or in the media?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Stallings is he's a very demanding guy. Like, he knows exactly what he wants, and you got to do it. Especially if he writes a play and you don't do the play, you're gonna get chewed out. I mean, that's just how it goes, right? Because he made a play, and he's a really good X's and O coach.
Right.
So what he does works. So if you don't do it and then it doesn't work, most likely he's not gonna be happy. But me and Stallings, we didn't always have like the best relationship at times, but right. I mean, we had definitely a relationship because he was the first person I called once my dad passed.
Oh wow!
I didn't know that. He's the first person I called once my dad passed. But there's also situations where I was sitting on the bench where we weren't going through a good stretch at times, and I feel like, come on, right. Put me in the game, give me a chance, Right. So there's always that respect him because he is the coach, he is the head coach, and whatever he needs done, we got to do. That's just what it is. You're a player, you got to do exactly what you got to do. But but there's definitely a soft side to him. Sometimes I'm sure you guys don't see it because we're always on the court. But right. There's a soft side to him too, though.
All right, so it sounds like you guys really kind of forge a bond through like good times and bad, just riding through that together, brought you guys close. Okay. All right, let's go back to the beginning then. How did Stallings get you to Nashville? Obviously, you're a West Coast guy. According to Rivals, you had offers coming in from Cal, UCLA, some big programs. Yeah. What made you pick Nashville and Vanderbilt instead of staying on the West Coast?
Okay. To be honest with you, what made me come to Vanderbilt was the players.
Yeah.
Players. Because our coach always tells us, if you guys represent our program. You know what I mean? The coaches don't. We do. Whatever we do wrong reflects on the program. Whatever we do good reflects on the program. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like whatever we do. So I remember coming on my recruiter visit, and there's this dude named Darshan. Darshan used to play here, and Chuck, his name is Charles, he used to play here, and they're both from West Coast.
Yeah.
And so we hung out, and I hung out with the team. I saw Jeff, I saw Brad, and the thing with this is such a family environment. You know, you walk in and they just welcome you. There was no bad stuff about it. You know, everybody just welcomed. You know, and it felt good. You know, you go out to parties, and usually sometimes when you go on these like recruiting visits, some dudes kind of feel like, you know, they're too good for you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they don't really show you the time of day or show you stuff like that. Well, at Vandy, it's not really like that. It's all love. Everybody's love, you know. So I really felt like what got me to come here was the players.
All right, very cool. Very cool. All right, so I mean, we hit the past, we hit the Vandy time. Let's talk about what's next for you. I mean, obviously you're gonna be writing. Are you gonna be continuing your professional career? Are you gonna be following Rod Odom overseas to Europe, or what's up? What's next?
The thing is, I'm actually kind of weighing my offers because right now I can either go overseas or play in the D League.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out right now what's best. What's my best situation for me right now, and I'm trying to figure that out at the moment. But yeah, I'm still trying to write this book, so I'm doing a lot of things at once right now.
Yeah, that's a busy schedule. You have any idea what city they'd stick you in for the D League? Because I know obviously you can be someplace like Los Angeles, or you can get stuck someplace like Maine. That's a big swing.
Yeah, it is, but I'm actually not sure yet. Not yet.
All right. I mean, I think that's all the questions I had for you. Let's get in some good book plugs, though. I know Kickstarter goes live today. Tell people where they can find it. Tell people where they can find you.
Man, you can find me at Zone Fuller, Twitter, Instagram. Contact me if you have any questions. Kickstarter goes up Monday. Make sure you go pre-order that book. It has everything you need. Talking about, it has the sex, where the girls come at you. You know, I talk about my play-by-play. You know, stuff that happened to me. You know, it just talks about that type of stuff. You know, it talks about crazy girlfriend. I know we've all had them before. You know, and sometimes as an athlete, like I said, wild. You know, you start to get big-headed. You know, you start to feel like, man, if I can have her, I can have her too. You know, and so it just talks about that type of stuff. Talks about, you know, drugs, how it's so easy to get caught up in that. You know, where like you just gotta focus on yourself, and you just gotta make sure you stay away from that. The parties, you know, it's really once you're known around your campus, it's real easy to get to any party you want to. You know, it's real easy to act crazy. Oh man, I forgot. It also talks about academics too.
Okay.
Academics, because like what people don't understand is that people call it student athletes, which I mean it's a good term, but I think it's backwards.
Yeah.
I really think it's backwards because
so basketball comes first.
For a lot of people, and for myself, I'm gonna say yes. Why? Because when you're spending 40 hours on the court, 40 hours, you most likely you're an athlete first. You know, like you most likely an athlete first. It's like an athlete student. Because I mean, I know there's a lot of students who care about their grades. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm not saying the student is out. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is a lot of kids like myself go to college to play ball. You know, and agree, that's great. We want that. We need that in our lives. So we're going to do that for sure. Right. But we came here to do what our sport is, what like we wanted to do. And we spend so much hours on the court. So say for a fact you go play a game, and then the next morning you got a test.
Right.
It's difficult. It's not easy to be an athlete. You know, so it talks about different stuff like that also.
So how flexible was the school really with working with you, making sure you were able to take care of both sides of the equation? And then on top of that, you think there's any way a UNC type situation could unfold at Vanderbilt?
UNC?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that one. I don't see that. No, I don't see no that Vandy. But like we did have really good. No, we really do have really good academic advisors though. Like they stay on us. Because I know for a fact if it wasn't for my academic advisor, I'm not sure if I'd be graduating. I'm not sure if I'd have graduated.
All right.
Because he was on my tail. And sometimes I hated him. You know what I mean? But it's like he stayed in my butt. You know, because I needed to get the grade. So I needed to study. I needed to stay up. I needed to be in study hall. You know, even though, you know, I didn't want to. I wanted to chill before practice.
Right.
So it literally gives like every detail of stuff that I went through my eyes, that I've seen, that I've been through when it comes from back home. You know, it's not easy. Like I know a lot of gangsters. Yeah. I know a lot of dealers. You know what I'm talking about? But like you would never know that because I played at Vanderbilt.
Right.
You see me, you see this nice kid smiling, but I have a background too. You know what I'm talking about? I've had people who look out for me too. You know, so it literally, I feel like I've lived through a lot of aspects where I just want to share for everybody to see.
So that's interesting. So I mean, when you go back, I mean, how much do people from back home try to get at you now that you're an SEC basketball player, former player of the week? Do you have a lot of people who, I mean, coming from that element that are trying to get in touch with you because you got a little bit more notoriety now?
Let me. I can tell you this. Okay, there's a gym where we like to go to back home, right? And we all go there. We all hoop. We all have fun.
Yeah.
Right? I used to go there all the time in high school, all the time. There's never used to be no problems, no anything.
Yeah.
But now when I go there, you see, oh yeah, that's Vandy. That's Vandy. You know, I'm not Zoom no more. I'm not Kyle. Oh, that's Vandy. You know what I mean? When they play you, everybody's trying to make a statement.
Yeah, you got a target on your back.
So they can say, oh, I could have played in the SEC. You know, so like you got to understand that when you go there, you got to be mentally tough. Everybody knows who you are. And everybody has a target on your back. And when it's game point, you better be fighting for your life. Because if you go up and you don't see somebody, he's going to knock you on your ass. You know? So it literally just gives every aspect.
Okay. All right. So people that want the book, I mean, it's a Kickstarter. I was going over the page right now. Looks like you got some pretty good incentives for people to donate. I mean, what are people getting for $25, $50? What are the packages that you're offering for that? Let's get that one out there.
We're gonna have a Zoom full of shirts. We're gonna have posters. It's gonna sign copy of the hard book. We got the digital copy. We got on Amazon. We're gonna have the audio copy. You know, so like you can hear my story, and also for the biggest price, which I think is $2,500, where I would actually go to your school and talk.
Yeah.
I would talk to the young kids. I would talk to whoever I have to talk to, you know, just to kind of let them understand, because there's a lot of high school kids who did not know what to get into like I did, you know. Right. And coming from my element, it's a whole nother place when you just go to a place like Vanderbilt. You know, right. Everybody's nice. Everybody's polite. You don't gotta watch your back all 24/7 all the time. You know, so it's a lot of stuff that I feel like a lot of people would really be interested in.
All right, and that Kickstarter goes live Monday. We got the link for you. Check on underneath the website in the description. It's through Kickstarter. And Kyle, tell them again where they can find you.
Man, find me Zoom Fuller at Zoom Fuller, Instagram, Twitter. You have a question, let me know, and I'll answer it, baby.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much for being the first ever guest on Door to Door. Hopefully not the last one, man. Really appreciate you coming out, taking the time.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, man. You have a great day. I'm looking forward to reading the book.
All right, bro. Thanks.
See ya.